You know what you actually want to do. You plan to go to the gym, or maybe you told yourself you'd finally sit down and study. But instead, you're lying in the dark, scrolling through another endless feed. Eventually, you put the phone down, the temporary relief fades, and you're left staring at the ceiling, asking yourself the exact same question. Why do I keep doing this? Labeling this cycle as a lack of willpower or a character flaw ignores the underlying mechanics. It is entirely possible to care deeply about a goal and still find yourself unable to move toward it. This internal paralysis is the result of a biological disagreement. Your brain is caught in a constant argument between two distinct versions of who you are. Your future self prioritizes health and long-term achievement, while your present self focuses entirely on immediate emotional relief and physical comfort. Long-term goals struggle to win this battle because the present is a heavy, immediate sensation. The future remains an abstract concept, unable to compete with the visceral pull of instant gratification. To understand why the present wins, we have to look at how the brain processes choices. It operates as a prediction engine, constantly calculating which action will generate the fastest positive outcome. Imagine sitting down to start a difficult project. The moment you look at the blank page, you feel a wave of negative emotion, boredom, uncertainty, or a subtle fear of failing. Your brain flags that discomfort as a threat and looks for an exit route. A single tap on your phone provides that exit. Suddenly, you are entertained, and the negative feelings vanish. This discomfort escape loop maps out clearly in the brain. Here, a difficult task leads directly to a sharp spike in discomfort. The moment a distraction enters the sequence, that discomfort dissolves. Repeated often enough, this becomes an automatic shortcut. The brain learns to bypass the effort entirely, building a direct path from the task straight to the distraction. Procrastination functions as a learned reflex to escape the uncomfortable emotions that the work generates, rather than a strategy to avoid the physical labor itself. Most people attempt to break this cycle by forcing a surge of motivation. They try to power through by waiting for a spark of inspiration to drive them forward. Motivation is a volatile biological variable. It fluctuates based on sleep quality, daily stress levels, and your blood sugar, making it an unstable foundation for long-term change. This chart tracks a typical motivation cycle over 30 days. The line behaves like an erratic heartbeat, full of high peaks and deep valleys that are impossible to sustain. When we overlay the effort required for a meaningful goal, the system fails. Every time motivation dips below that baseline, progress halts. Relying on this model forces you to negotiate with yourself every day. That internal debate, trying to convince yourself to act, physically exhausts your brain's capacity for attention. When action is dependent on the presence of motivation, progress becomes fragile. It leaves success at the mercy of how you happen to feel when you wake up. Systems bypass the need to fight your brain's natural craving for comfort by hacking the sequence of choices before they arrive. The objective is to replace willpower with architecture. A behavioral system is a predetermined rule that dictates your actions automatically. You remove the decision-making process entirely, so you never have to ask yourself if you feel like doing the work. Environmental design is the most effective way to enforce these rules. By modifying your physical surroundings, you influence your unconscious behavior without spending any active energy. You make the desired behavior visually obvious and physically effortless. If you want to study, you leave the textbook open on your desk. If you want to run, you set your shoes where you'll step on them in the morning. Simultaneously, you increase the friction for distractions. Moving your phone to another room or blocking specific websites forces you to expend physical effort to engage in a bad habit. Deliberate design eliminates the need for emotional negotiation. You aren't attempting to be stronger than your environment. You are making the environment work for you. Every difficult task carries a heavy starting friction, the psychological cost of beginning. Reducing the scale of the first step prevents the brain's prediction engine from flagging the work as a threat. Instead of committing to a grueling hour at the gym, the command is simply to put on your running shoes. Once the movement starts, the resistance begins to fade. The 10-minute rule operates on this same principle. You give yourself permission to quit a task after 10 minutes, which drastically lowers the perceived cost of sitting down to start. This new sequence repairs the internal loop. Initial discomfort now leads to a manageable action, which eventually produces a delayed reward that the brain can learn to value. Success in this system relies on quick recovery. A single day of failure is a data point, not a collapse. You prevent mistakes from becoming a pattern by returning to the rule at the next available opportunity. This framework distinguishes intentional rest from automatic avoidance. Recovery serves as a planned tool for health, while escape is a reactive response to stress. Choosing to tolerate resistance builds the evidence for your identity. These small actions prove that you are becoming the person you intend to be.